And welcome back once again, everybody. We are live. Went a little bit early. I wanted to get some viewers built up for your A finals. Ben Francis, Jonathan DLC Dela Cruz getting set to do some battle. Figure I would go live, let the viewers build up a little bit. So if you are just tuning in, help us out. Number one, like the stream. That helps push us up in the queue. Number two, copy and share that stream link. Share that out to all your Facebook pages. I would appreciate it. I know that the players do as well. Set for the leg. A little bit of adrenaline, I think, out of Mr. Francis right there. Dela Cruz looking like he may take it. Indeed, he does. Of course, that could be just the speed in which Ben is ready to go in this match. It has the makings of being just an absolute fire fest between these two. Break advantage, I think, has to go in favor of Jonathan DLC. Potting, that I would have to say is in the favor of Mr. Francis. But the break-in 10 ball is always a key factor. And we are off rack number one. Just gets the rub off the cue ball. 4 ball finding its way into the pocket. Not an easy opener, but definitely the safe possibility. Roll up. Send the cue ball off the right rail. Cue ball snuggling up behind that 6-3. Like so. Would have liked to have had that a little closer. Potential 2-rail. Off the bottom, or the left side rail, bottom rail. Kicking it into that side pocket. Steep angle from there, but you always call it. Ideally, he'd like this without the 7-ball being in the way. Might have to play the right-hand spin just to kind of shorten up the angle. I think if you go to the left-hand spin on the cue ball, sends it underneath the 1. So a little bit of right-hand spin, a little extra top, just to shorten that angle out. A little too much. How do you go 3 rails around without hitting anything and find the top left-hand corner with the cue ball? Ball in hand, however, for Mr. DLC. Look at this. A runnable table. I'm not usually a fan of trying to take on this 110. Did have a look at it. From that angle, it is a very skinny side pocket for that combination. Yeah, there's not a lot to do here. 3 passes into the right side, also the bottom right-hand corner. 1 ball down to the bottom right. Just maintain position, right? Just connect with that side rail. Stick around for the 2 ball. He went at it. Very brave, but it pays. Fortune favors the brave, as they say. We'll see which way he plays this. Really, it's either one. Can go into the side or bottom. Looking more like the side pocket, depending on the angle. It will take him into the 6. He's playing for the 5 next. Could draw off of this and potentially miss the 6, I think. Can't quite tell the angle that he's got here. Just kind of shoot the gap between the 6-8. Kind of sort of like that. Would have liked to have had another full ball rotation out of that. But doesn't have to do a lot here. Make the 5 bottom right, 3 rails around for the 6 to the top right hand corner. Could also just draw it off that side rail and back out. Decides to try 2 rails instead. Gets a little funny from here. You're going to see the Ben Francis show. Start firing these things in. And once again, those just tuning in, it is your A final for the Fall Classic 2023 here at the Leather Pocket. And if you're just tuning in, make sure you like the stream. Help us get us up in the sequence. Copy and paste the stream link. And we'll see if he soft draws this 7 ball down to the bottom left-hand corner, or just goes forward to play the 7 into the left-hand side pocket. Forward it is. A touch under hit. Would have liked to have had another half ball rotation there. We'll have to hit this with some right-hand spin. Stick around for the 8 to the top right-hand corner. Could come all the way across like this for the 8 to the top left. Made this a little more difficult, I think, than what he was intending to. Some bottom right hand, check that right side rail, draw all the way back or forward for 2. First game win advantage going Mr. Francis's way. Always feels really good in a match to get the first win. Starts to add to the confidence level. Ben running to grab a quick refreshment. Perhaps a little bit of nerves here in the early going of this match. It is for the hot seat. And of course, Ben making his presence known both in this event as well as the last event, which was the Hui Memorial, I believe. Ben taking second place there, looking to beat that placement by taking down this tournament. That is a very true statement, James. I feel better when I get the last win in a match. I would agree. But the first one's just as important, in my opinion. Kind of gets things rolling, sets the stage a little bit, helps the confidence, gives you something to build on. One ball not looking so good here. Don't know if he can see full to make or whether he's just got to accept a hit. It is from distance. Just the hit it was. A little bit fortunate with the 5 sticking around there. This is indeed a final. B final, I believe, is being played or about to be played as well. Tap of the table says good answer from Mr. Francis. And hello again, Mr. Thomas. How are you? Joining us from Germany. What time are you sitting at over there, Thomas? I would imagine you're well into the late hours of the night. Yeah, nice little touch. Does leave Jonathan, I believe, the window between that 5-6. Perhaps even with the availability of the bank on the 1 ball. Lincoln City, Oregon, tuning in. How are you, James? Welcome back once again, longtime viewer. And of course, I appreciate it, as do the players. Anytime we can get the more viewers, the better. So if you are just tuning in, again, like that stream, get us up in that sequence, and then copy and share the stream link onto all your Facebook and social media. We'd appreciate that. Is he calling the 10 ball? Playing the corner bank? He is swinging. And I guess down 1 game and it's early on. Whoo! That had potential. Don't know that he's going to like his next shot. I think he's going to find himself with cue ball behind that 6. Straight into that 1 ball, send the 1 just beside the 5 ball. Cue ball off the end rail and snuggle up behind the 6. Could go the other way as well, if he chooses. Chip off the, as we're looking at it, the left side of the 1 ball. Send the 1 behind the 5-6 in the cue ball down table. Not bad, but I know what Ben's comment would be at this point. Didn't want the 1 ball hanging out directly in front of that corner pocket. How's the weather in Calgary? Cold and snow. It's actually been great here, Thomas. And this week, I believe we're supposed to be at 12 above. We still have some green grass. Not a lot. There are patches here and there. For the most part, it's brown, but no snow. At nighttime, gets a little chilly, but I'll be honest, for being into December, we could very easily be minus 30. Oof. He scared it again. He's getting close with some of these attempts. I would suspect as the match goes on, he'll get those dialed in. But the 2-ball in a little bit of a tougher position. I like how he's playing this, back cutting the 1, 2 rails around. Doesn't want to get behind the 5-6, but certainly up to that end of the table. Sounds like spring. Yeah, it is nice weather here in Calgary, given that we are technically in winter. Very spring-like. Two rails around, trying to come short of the 5 and 6. Does not want to go behind it, obviously. Needs that to run. Needs it to go. Gotta go. I think he'll be okay. He slices these balls in like a ninja. Had minus 43 in Edmonton in 2000. Yuck. We do not need that kind of stuff. Not ever, minus 43. Decides to play the safe instead. Fairly easy hit for Jonathan here, just off the end rail. The kick and stick on the deuce. Yeah, this will end up nice. What a nice kick. I believe 8 fully in the way. But you might see Ben just one hop this over top that 8-ball, connect with the 2. And he is even calling the back cut. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, when it gets down to minus 30, minus 40, even below that, I've had minus 48, I believe, was the lowest that we've been in Calgary. I was here for it, and not fun times at all. Oh, look at this. Does he get the jelly rub from the 8-ball? He sure does. But really, I mean, the difference between minus 43, minus 48, 5 degrees, by the time you get down to those temperatures, it's all not good. And inevitably, that is always the time that we ask ourselves why we live in a spot that can get down to that cold of a temperature. And then somebody shows me the size of spiders and everything else that are in the warmer climates, and I accept the cold weather. In Munich today, 3 feet of snow. Yep. Thomas, you can keep all of that. You can keep the cold temperature, you can keep the snow, you can keep all of that. I prefer none of it. This is turning into a little bit of a scrappy match here early on. We'll see if Jonathan just pinches this 3-ball. Just draw back up on top for the 5. Indeed he does. A little tricky here with this positioning 5 to the 6. In a little bit steep. So it does bring in the side pocket. If he overdoes it, it brings in the 9 and 10 ball. Doesn't want to underdo it. But he had this cue ball on a string in his last match. Yeah, you definitely get the wet cold in Kitimat, but I don't know that it gets down to the minus 30s and 40s there. If it does, that wet cold is no good. I experienced that when I lived in Toronto for a little while, and that wet cold, it don't matter how many layers you got on, when it gets into your bones and you get cold like that, it takes forever to get warmed up again. Yeah, this should be called the Winter Classic. I would think that for the Fall Classic it would have to be in October. Jonathan saying, I am equal to the task, sir. Deadlocked one apiece. Oh yeah, Mr. Smooth himself. That's a story that needs to be told everywhere. They should do a featured documentary on that guy, going from a right-handed player at the pro level, switching it up, having to go left-handed, and within a year back up to playing at the pro level. Just an insane story. And never, I don't think has ever been accomplished before. Certainly not in pool. Wow, look at this break. Kind of wanted that one ball to stick around. That would have been ideal for Jonathan, but what a break. Not loving his position on the 2. Looking like he's going to thin the right side of the 2, send that cue ball a few rails around, kind of underneath the 4, 7, 3, and then the 2 ball kind of sticking up on top of those on the left side rail. Just like this, but don't leave Ben that window. Sure did. Window left. Good news, bad news. Gets the window on the 2, but shape on the 3. No easy task. And perhaps in the mind of Mr. Francis, didn't matter whether he made that or not. Shaping of that 3 ball, no matter where you are on the table. Not fun, not easy. Yeah, I'll tell you, Nick, if I had to use the left hand to play a game, it would take me at least an hour to shoot one game. Because shooting left-handed for me, it's a no-go. The only thing that my left hand is good for in pool is exactly what it does, and that's create the bridge. Nothing else. Why did he switch playing sides? It was his neck. I had a conversation with John kind of into the final days of him playing right-handed, and I can tell you he was actually thinking about just quitting altogether. He really enjoyed DJing and has all the equipment, had built up a name in Toronto for DJing, and was actually going to give pool up and just concentrate on his DJing because when he played right-handed, because he's the same way I am, so he shoots right-handed but is very heavily left eye dominant. And so in order to get the dominant eye over top of the shaft, you kind of got to pinch your neck. And I kind of suffer from the same thing. I don't put in the same number of hours that John does. But every time I play pool, it's like somebody's taken a bat and smacked me across the back of the head. So I fully understood what it was that he was going through. And he was going to give up. But he said, well, let me see if I can accomplish this and just switch hit and go left hand. And so he did, gave himself a year, and within a year was back playing at the pro level. And same silky smooth, which is, again, right, it's one of the things it's just incredible about that story. Right, he was always known as Mr. Smooth because of the smooth stroke that he had while playing right-handed. And switching it up, still had that silky smooth stroke. Side pocket, not wanting to accept that 3. Need to hit the center of those pockets. They are playing on a diamond table. Played him a race to 9 for €500. That is a brave thing to do. How'd you fare? What'd you race to? What was the score line? GWN says December 21st is officially the first day of winter. That may be official, but I know weather-wise we are well into winter here in Calgary. Not the same as technically as I guess as bad as what it could be, but it's not Puerto Rico weather, I can tell you that. It's not Calgary summer weather either. Lost 9-7, all right. Well, Thomas, you know how to hold a cue. If your score line was 9-7 against John Mora, you know what you're doing. Doesn't want to be on that rail. Gives himself a little bit of distance. But really important that that Ben didn't put himself against the rail there on this attempt for the 10 ball. That would increase the difficulty by 100%. But instead spears it in, gaining back the lead. They are trading blow for blow here at the leather pocket. Nick, completely agree, and I think that John Morris story is the perfect way to accomplish that. He ran the first 4 racks, he was a little scared, no doubt. Probably wondering what he got himself into. Played decent, I'd say. Well, I guess so. I'm assuming that was on a 9-foot. Uh-oh. Ben finding the side pocket with his break, and that was just a miss hit. That drew straight into that side pocket. Shaking his head. Nice wide open table here too. 1 to the 2, 2, 3. Three to the 5 might be the toughest shot on the table. 5 to 6, 6 to 7 could be a challenge. But 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10, no big deal there. Looks like he's just going to straight draw this. Straight back behind the 6 off the side rail and back out again. Made a mockery of me. Instead just drew between the window. What's DLC? That is his last name, Dela Cruz. But spelling out Jonathan Dela Cruz does not fit on the scoreboard. Was way better in the 90s. So I would assume that that puts age range for you somewhere in the late 50s, early 60s. Or at least that's what I would assume. Yeah, that would be a treat. Anytime you're back in Canada, make a special visit to us here in Calgary. Come play one of the events. We'll put you on the stream for sure. 59 now. Yeah, well, not a bad guess on my part. Yeah, Ortman, Souquet. Ralph is a super nice guy. I've had the pleasure of having a few conversations with him. I don't know that that's going to get there for the 7 ball. Looking like he's going to have to play safe here. Leave that cue ball underneath that 8-10. Send the 7 ball 2 rails back up table. Well, it was, I'll say it was an educated guess. We'll call that, Ben. Goes the other way, sends cue ball up table. I was more a fan of sending the 7 ball up because you can control where that cue ball lands a little bit more. This will leave Ben a cut on that 7 ball and nothing to do. Make the 7 auto shape on the 8. Yeah, Ralph's a nice guy. Very quiet, unassuming, but a very, very smart guy. Uses the whole pocket, but 7 does find its way in. Gonna have to drag this 8 ball bottom right hand corner, drag the cue ball 2 rails around. Take the 9 ball. Top right, obviously. Indeed, drags it out. Draw back down to the bottom left-hand side of the table. Could go forward here if he chooses as well. Could go forward 3. I kind of like the draw back, a little easier to control. And this will do. Ben Francis looking to extend the lead by 2. Indeed does just that. And speaking of Mr. DeWolf, we appreciate you, sir. Part of, or the main cook and bottle wash of DCL Labor and Contracting, Mr. DeWolf is. Always a big supporter of the events that we have here at the Leather Pocket, as well as Nick from Nick's Q Innovations. We appreciate you. The players appreciate you. That's for sure. Couldn't do it without you. Ralph Eckert. Yes, also a very nice gentleman. Uh-oh, we're in trouble, y'all. We might have some royalty joining the mic. I will have a partner in crime on the mic. Miss Stephanie Toy about to join us. Tournament Director Extraordinaire. How are you, Steph?
I'm good. It's just me.
Speaking of unassuming. Even played Boosty, Efren, and Earl.
Those are some greats.
Those are
some recognizable names.
Recognizable no matter where you're from. Attempted safety, does he get it? I think he might leave an outside edge. The difficulty of this being that Jonathan's going to be a little bit hampered in the bridge over top of this 3. Thanks, Ben. Does get the hit. Does he leave the 1 ball on? Looking like it. Nice pocket weight shot here. Float down underneath the 2 ball. But always when you're floating these balls in, it's this is not an easy shot. And of course makes it look rather routine.
Oh,
how do you
the
squeeze,
window.
right? How do you squeeze between that window? Josh Filler, I'm assuming. He ran 7 racks. Then you definitely have to be talking Josh Filler. Ben looking to make quick work to extend his lead. And guys, if you're just tuning in, it is the A-side final for the Fall Classic here at the Leather Pocket. Do us a favor, copy that share link, share that out to all your social media. Make sure you also like the stream. That helps put us higher up in the queue. We would appreciate that. Players would appreciate that. What's my favorite pool player? I don't know. It's a very difficult question to answer because I've got to look at a few different factors. What generation? Because my favorite pool player may differ generation to generation. And is it favorite pro player or just favorite all around? There's a lot of different answers I could come up with there, but I'm probably going to say influence-wise, 2 of them, Pagulayan and, of course, Reyes. And I say Pagulayan because very, very early on when I first started to play pool, there was an event here in Calgary where they brought Alex into Calgary for that event. That was done through Southern Music. And I had no idea when I first started to play League that you could play this game at a professional level and that there were big events. I had no idea Vegas was a
That
thing.
was Pro 9
and
ball.
Yeah, I had no clue that that was even a thing.
Archer was here.
Yeah,
Who else? I think Mike Massey came.
yeah.
That was so long ago. That was in the 90s.
But then you
Early
look at the
90s?
greats that influenced the sport, like a Buddy Hall, Willie Mosconi, right? There's just icons, right? They've extended past legendary status. They've moved into what I would consider as industry icons, right? Buddy Hall's one of those. Willie Mosconi's one of those. Efren is one of those. Shane will get there. I think Shane is more of a legend at this point, but he will certainly in his career reach that iconic status.
He's got his whole life ahead of him still.
Yeah. Well, I
Still
think
very young.
he's trying to I mean, he's been really, really smart with what he's done financially. So he doesn't need to continue playing. He could retire now and be quite comfortable. But he was really, really smart with what he did with his winnings and his money. And oh, sorry, I almost forgot to put the score up. Ben got that game finished before I finished telling my story. Mike Siegel, yeah, there's another one. Another icon of the game. Right? So, I mean, it just depends, right? But certainly I've had guys locally that even just playing league, right? Russ Whittle is one of those that heavily influenced me in my game, and I give him every bit of credit for me being the player I am, for sure. And I mean, at this point, I'm not really a sweat for anybody, but back when I was playing good, I give every bit of credit to that. I give that credit to Russ. Yeah, Jason's a nice guy for sure. I've had several conversations with Jason.
I think our interactions with Jason have been very limited.
They are. And I mean, what you see on TV and, through the Mosconi Cup, it's a bit of a takeaway. I think,
The smack talking.
Yeah, the smack talking and all the shenanigans that go on through the Mosconi Cup and some of those style of events is not a representation of who Jason is as at his heart. But still a good guy. Yeah, Tony Drago was also a great player for sure back in those days. I think it was Tony Drago and was it Earl Strickland that had a match for the ages back in those days?
We have our B-side final between Rick Glenn and Brady Golan just starting.
They're playing right in front of us. So we can kind of give you the play-by-play, the update. Maybe I can change this a little bit. Let's see if we can manage this. That way we can flip things around a little bit.
One 0. I'm pretty sure. Now you have me questioning myself.
I know. I think I'm right. Oh, for sure. Earl and Efren both at monstrous levels still. Well, we'll see what Mr. Francis can do here. It's a kind of a tricky start, right? You got to get good on the 2. or play good position off the 2 to get good on the 3 so you can get good on the 4. So it's kind of this starting here is the key to the rack. Everything else, once you get past this 2, 3, 4, everything else lays pretty open and looking good. I will say Brady looking to change things up. He's gone down 4-0 twice, or was down 4-0 and 3-0. Came back to win both of those. Now switching it up a little bit. He's taking game number 1. So he's up 1-0 over Rick Glenn.
It's like he just hit a gear.
Well, I had a conversation with Brady outside, and part of the issue that he sees with tournament play, or that he has, he's done it so much. It's trying to get hungry for it, and I think I won't say he lets it happen, but being down 3-0, 4-0 tends to light that fire.
So that's his plan then, is to have to grind
I won't say that's the plan. It's just it's not as uncomfortable for him, and it actually lights him up a little bit to get hungry for the win. Whereas myself, that's just a losing strategy for me. Will we see Efren in Canada anytime soon? I will say probably coming in August. Am I wrong?
There's been talk.
There has been talk. Potential. We'll say that. Ben looking to add to the lead. I see no issue, no problems in him doing that with but 3 balls left to extend the lead 5-1 over Jonathan DLC. Gonna underneath the 10 off that right rail. How about exactly where he was pointing his cue?
That was pretty good.
Perfect seems to work most times. He is definitely a legend of the game, most certainly. Brady Golan, not only in Canada, but also in the United States. The Spokane Open, aptly named the Brady Open for a large number of years. I think out of the 11 or 12 years, 9 of those years was won by Brady Golan.
And such a gentleman to have in the room, too.
He totally is.
Such a pleasure to have here.
Yeah, I would agree.
Just to talk with him personally and just to be able to watch him play. It's awesome.
Yeah. Ball finds its way in. It was the 9 ball. Cue ball coming awfully close to that, scratching into that same side pocket. We'll see what he can come with here for a safety. I would think the cue ball is going 2 rails underneath. Slipping in behind that 3-7. Sends the 1 ball that way instead. Brings the cue ball back downtown.
That's a good shot.
It is. I think the 7 may be in the way here for the 1 rail kick off the side rail. But certainly the end rail kick is on. What do I think of Shaw running the 7-1-4 in straight pool? Huge accomplishment. I know Mr. 626 himself. He was here, John Schmidt, once Shaw broke that record. We'll see whether John gets back in the saddle. I think if there is anybody on the planet that could challenge Shaw's record, it would be John Schmidt. Certainly there's a lot of straight pool wizardry out there, but in my opinion anyway, I think Mr. Schmidt would be the likely candidate if there ever was going to be somebody to break Shaw's record.
A quick 2-0 lead for Brady over Rick on the B side.
Yeah, and I think Ben just potentially just pinches this 2-ball. I don't think he's got to get too crazy. Oh, he does get crazy.
He's feeling it.
Yeah, feeling good. And maybe he did that because of the positional play he's got to get to the 4-ball with. So we'll see if he goes 2 rails around, misses the 5-ball, come to the right side of 4 for the 4 into the left side pocket, or if it's short, he can go to the bottom left. It will require a steady stroke here, though. Just like this. God, it makes it look so
side?
easy. It's not even fair. Yeah, it goes to the side. It'll go past the 8. Yeah, for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a few guys. Fillers, he's in contention, but on the regular, if I had to pick one player that could potentially beat that record, it's going to be John Schmidt for certain. And I give John actually a lot of credit for breaking, how long was that record in from Moscone? 30 years, 40 years, 50
Something
years,
like that,
something like that, right? Just incredible. And for John to be the first guy to say, hey, I'm going to beat this record, goes to 626. That's a huge accomplishment. Right, it brought a lot of attention to straight pool.
That's what I was going to say. It wasn't really, it was kind of like a dying game at that point.
Yeah, he did play on 5-inch pockets. There's definitely something to be said there. I don't know how big it was for pocket size when John did. I think it was 4.5 for John. I can't quite recall.
Yeah, I think you're right. That was a point of discussion.
It was, yeah. Same as Moscone, right? Moscone, I'm sure, was on 5-inch pockets. Yeah, Ben hitting him clean. I kind of figured after the first couple of games, he kind of seemed a little tentative, perhaps a little nervous, wanting to win this one. And now he's hit his stride. And Mr. DeWolf, I tend to agree with you. Yeah, spearing him in from everywhere as Mr. Francis to again pad the lead, taking now what should be a 6-1 lead over Jonathan Dela Cruz. Yeah, 4.5 is what John played. I figured that was correct. but a huge accomplishment for both players, right? You can't really take anything away from either camp, whether you're a Shaw fan or a John Schmidt fan. Both just, I mean, it's those types of things that bring attention to not only the pool industry, a specific game within the industry that not a lot of people understood. Right now, it's being played everywhere, and that then spawned off the attention to one pocket and so on and so forth. So it did a lot of good. Was Mosconi an exhibition play or tournament when he did the record? I don't think it was really kind of a conscious thought. If my memory is correct, if I remember reading the story correct, I think it was after a tournament and he had ran the last player out and just decided to keep going, see how many he could make. I think it's something along those lines, where it wasn't necessarily that it was planned. He just thought, well, I'm just going to keep going, see how many I can make.
Turned out to be a world record.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Ben, and that's something that no matter who does what in accomplishing anything with straight pool, I think John Schmidt gets full credit, full marks for being the first one to be able to beat a 50-year record. So no matter what happens after that point, I think that'll be something that Mr. Schmidt can hold near and dear to him.
John beats Shaw all day in commentary.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of the most entertaining people I have ever met.
Oh, for commentary, John gives most commentators the 6 ball and out.
I have never been so entertained. My face and my gut hurt from laughing.
Yeah,
the whole time he was here. He was fantastic.
Yeah, super funny guy, John Schmidt.
Really personable too.
Yeah, the stories, man. That guy can just tell stories for days.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine some of the stories we didn't hear.
Yeah. Look at this.
Uh-oh.
Ben finding the side pocket, was looking to add to his lead.
That was
This
the
will
first misstep we saw, I think.
Sure. Well, there was a couple at the start, but this will breathe a little bit of life back into Mr. DLC. Oh, yeah. That's another. I've watched numerous of CJ Wiley's road stories. And again, very entertaining, really great storyteller. A lot of good times on his stories.
Jonathan's got a chance here to get one back, but he's got to get from this 5 to the top rail for the 7. Little punch here. Stroke it well.
Are we going to switch cameras after this match? Probably. I might actually slip out here for 5 minutes. Leave you in the hands of Stephanie Toy while I go and check outside and make sure it's still cold out there. A little bit overrun here by Jonathan. I don't really see it being much of an issue for him. Have I seen the Earl Strickland story? Not as a documentary. And of course, Earl does great commentary. That's another guy that can, he is a great storyteller. Yeah, no issue back and forth there for Jonathan. Right, and Earl is one of those polarizing style of players. Polarizing character, I'll say that. You either love him or you hate him. But no matter what side of the coin you fall on, you just have to respect what he's done for the game, who he is as a player, his accomplishments, no matter what side of the coin you're on.
That was a good out by Jonathan.
That was a really good out. Yeah, good finish. Yeah, I'll definitely look that up.
Still a 2-0 lead for Brady on the B side here. A little bit of a safety battle going on.
They're batting the 6-ball around. Maybe we'll switch over. I think these guys are going to take a break. We'll switch on over. We'll show you the battle that they've got going on. So I'm going to adjust the score
2-0
so that it
Brady.
reflects the proper score.
Looks like Brady fouled on that shot.
Rose like McEnroe in tennis, for sure. Very polarizing player.
This might be a chance here to get Rick on the board. That 8-ball is going to be a little tough. Maybe a combo?
I think he's got to go into it. I don't think the 8-10 is wired. The 8-9's not wired. I think he's got to play into it here. Chip the, yeah, just like
perfect.
that.
Perfect.
Opens
How well
those
does that
up.
work out?
Wow. That's how that goes.
Rick's made a couple of really great shots today. I don't know if they were all on the stream, but seen him make a couple of 2-3 rail, you know.
Well, and he was kind of fighting through the pool gods trying to come at him from every which way, too. But Rick will not go away quietly, I can tell you that.
Well, Rick's got a lot of experience under his belt. I don't
He
know
sure
if a lot
does.
of people realize, but Rick at one point was a junior champion.
Yeah, listen, there, you know, if you were playing pool in the 90s, early 2000s, you know his name, most certainly. The guy could hold his own with anybody you put in front of him.
I think at that time, though, he was playing under the name Rick Marshall.
There
So
were
no.
actually 2 Rick Marshalls back
There.
in those days.
Yes, correct.
One was this Rick Marshall, and one was
The BC Rick Marshall.
the BC Rick Marshall. Yeah.
It looks like both tables are now on a break.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Shocker, Ben Francis in the finals, right? He's been hitting them good. He's been putting in the time, though. Got to give him full marks, full credit.
He's going full steam ahead this year, he said.
Yeah, he's apparently going to go and head down to Derby City Classic. He's going to be at BCA, so we'll see if he gets into the...
He may actually put Derby on hold because I think that's at about the same time as Florian.
Yeah, but I don't think we're doing that.
Oh, okay.
So
So he's still gonna go.
I think his plane his flight's booked. So I know for sure he's going. He was going to put either the Banks or whatever it was that we were going to go down and do the Florian thing. He was going to put those ones on hold, but the event is longer than one weekend.
I see. Yeah, he wants to do BCA this year in February. He said that he'd like to go to Puerto Rico next November, depending on the time of the month that is.
November, yeah.
He definitely wants to hit the road more this year,
Well, I'll tell you,
saving up all his vacation time.
not just for Ben's speed, for any player. Going to Puerto Rico, put that on the bucket list. In my opinion, you have to go. At least once.
It was nice, definitely. It was one of those destination vacations / enjoy pool type getaways.
Well, I can tell you this, right? Nobody likes to lose in a match, whether that's singles, teams, whatever. But when you lose in Puerto Rico, having the beach right next door to kind of console you,
Didn't hurt.
it kind of helped
Soften the
ease
blow.
the wound. You know what I mean? And the weather was phenomenal. Weather was great, even though it was sometimes cloudy, sometimes rainy. Had no effect on the temperature whatsoever. It was still beautiful. So definitely goes on the bucket list. Vegas is another one, right? If you've never been to Vegas for BCA, highly, 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 highly recommended. Right, you get all the pros that are there. You can kind of rub shoulders with those guys. And tons of players. Last year, 7,000 players at BCA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the place was packed.
Yeah. And just a hammer of a break there from Rick. But a no-go. Nice little check siding there from Mr. Golan. So well controlled. Nothing to do here but make the 2. Just a touch of draw so you avoid the 9 ball. You'll have the 3 to the top right-hand corner. Nothing to it but to do it. Just like so. It is a phenom. Might have got himself out of shape a little bit. Not going to hurt him at all. You might see him play this with a little inside. Float down off the bottom rail, or he could just draw underneath the 7 and back out. Like that. Making it look elementary. Phenomenal equals free stream. Indeed. Who sent Brady to the B side? Who he's playing now, Mr. Marshall.
Mr. Glenn.
Mr. Glenn. Freudian slip.
Previously known as Marshall.
Well, it's because we were just talking about it.
Yeah.
It was in my brain. What happened on... we're back over with Ben. We'll hold off here. Yeah, we'll finish this rack, and then I might leave you alone here for 5 minutes. So they are started up on the other table here as well. We'll just finish this one, and then we'll swing back over to the A final. This is the B final going on. Could do a split screen if y'all want. It would take me some time to do it.
Jonathan just scratched off his break.
Yeah, ball in hand for Mr. Francis. Fairly wide open table. Brady looking to extend his lead as well. Indeed he does. Back on over to the A final, Mr. Francis and Jonathan Dela Cruz. With that being said, I'm going to take off here for 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
Looks like Ben's got a fairly routine table here. Just a matter of controlling the rock. If you're just tuning in, we are watching the A-side final. Ben Francis versus Jonathan Dela Cruz. This was the Leather Pocket Fall Classic. Staggered entry depending on Fargo rating. It was 10 ball on the 9 foots on the A side, 10 ball on the 7 foots on the B side. 8 tables of each in this pool hall. If you're ever in the Calgary area, make sure you stop in and say hello. I don't have any posters, but it sounds like there are going to be a few holiday events. And as per tradition in the past, there will be a free Christmas Day dinner here at the Leather Pocket. That's something that the our late owner had started years ago. I believe our very own Ben DeWolf is going to have a hand in that also. Turkey dinner for Christmas Day, I do believe. So for those of you who don't have any Christmas plans, feel like hitting some balls on Christmas Day, Leather Pocket will be open and will even feed you. Ben making quick work out of that rack, now leading 7-2 over Jonathan. I do believe this is probably as deep as Jonathan has ever gone in one of these tournaments. It's been a long time if he has, it's been a while if he's gotten this deep in a tournament. But you know, sometimes the stars do align. You get a decent draw, you're playing well, you're well fed, well rested, and you just have a great tournament. It's good to see Jonathan being competitive. He plays a lot.
Yeah, his game's jumped up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the next stream for us might be the hair of the dog.
Could possibly be. I don't think that there's going to be one here before Christmas.
No,
I think this is the last one.
Not of the higher entry fees.
Good break by Ben here. It's got a good spread. Good look at the one ball.
Wow, thins it in.
Rolls it in.
Wow.
Perfect weight.
How's that for a shot? 3 to the top right-hand corner. Draw down to the bottom right-hand side for the 4. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Could go to the side pocket here too. I think he now sees that top right-hand corner.
I think the top right-hand corner gives him more natural shape for the 4.
Yep. Side pocket, he'd have to draw a ton of left-hand spin just to get back down for the 4. No split screen, ew. No split screen, please. No worries. Yeah, it gets a little bit out of line. Wobbles. But does not stick in the hole, gets tossed out of there. DLC gonna have to play some smart safety here. Cue ball underneath the 9 potentially. I think that's what he's hitting for. Did not get there.
No.
Left it as a complete hanger.
Just leaks out. That was a big 6 ball too.
It was. The idea was right. Execution just a little heavy on the weight. Yes. So Stephanie is on the mic. Steph Toy.
I am part of the furniture here
Hey, that's me.
normally.
That's my line. I'm just the furniture. Well, you do now, Thomas. Ben is a staple. Brady, I mean, everybody in the finals here are kind of staples in the Calgary pool scene. We are a very, very blessed city to have the talent that we do.
Just in Alberta general. in
Alberta
general,
for
yeah.
sure. right? We have a great pool room, a couple of them here in Calgary. Yeah, and for those that don't know, as Ben said, with Steph Toy, not only does she do the odd bit of commentary with me, but also tournament director extraordinaire. Keeps
Well,
things running smooth.
There's a couple of us now. I'm not doing too much these days. Everything else in life is keeping me busy. And we've got Larry has kind of taken over that pole position.
Yep, sure has. And keep it plugged in. Oh, I see.
I need the charger.
I see, okay. I got what you're putting down there. Yeah, the last tourney had 22 players over 650 Fargo.
It's a cool little stat, Ben. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Thomas, we're always here. Ben is always here. He's the general manager of the Leather Pocket here, so he's always here for sure. Me, depends on when you catch me. I may be in town, or I might be out of town with Jam Up Apparel doing what I do there.
Little fun fact about Ben. Ben started frequenting Leather Pocket when he was a teen, underage.
Yeah, that was when it was over by
Fowler.
James Fowler on 14th Street.
He was a piece of the furniture, always spent his free time there. Loved the game since he hit his first ball. Him and the owner, Len, became very close, obviously. Started working there, started, spending all of his extra time there. And fast forward, 20 plus years later, Ben was still hanging out here, still obviously very close with Len, the owner. And last year when Len passed, it just kind of fell into Ben's hand like it was just a natural fit.
Meant to be.
So Ben is now the general manager.
Smoothing it in.
Pocket. Yeah.
Looking to put himself on the hill. How many tables? There are officially 9 foots and 8 7-foot tables. The 9 foots, 8 of which are diamonds. We have 1 Predator 9-foot table in the house as well. Ben getting the job done, taking a commanding lead in this match. The Q Club in Edmonton. Yeah, I know that place.
Is that place still around?
I don't think so.
I think it's gone, right?
Yeah, it's gone. They now have what many would consider to be one of the nicest looking pool halls in Western Canada. In
Top Shots.
Top Shots.
Top Shots is a great club also. Really well set up, great food.
I would assume that's where Jeff and Lan are this weekend, being that they're not here.
No, they just had plans before the poster for this event kind of came out. They had already made plans, so.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, we're really lucky. I mean, we've got one of the nicest pool halls in Western Canada. That one's 3 hours away. We've got 2 nice pool halls here in Calgary. This is more what I would consider as a traditional pool hall in the look and the feel. And then, of course, we also have the Hidden Spot. It's about a 10-minute drive from here. Mm-hmm. Also full of diamond tables. And then, of course, the pool scene that we have is about as robust as you'll ever get. I would tend to think, and I've traveled a lot, and especially in Canada, I would think that per capita, we've probably got the highest percentage per capita of almost anywhere.
Could be. I haven't really studied the stats, but I just know the caliber of players here in Alberta is quite high. And also very welcoming. So like I said, if you're ever in the area, feel free to drop in. You'll always find a friendly game here, weekly tournaments.
Yeah, I definitely know Wetaskiwin. Excuse me, Club 147. Not here anymore. I have a long-winded story about Wetaskiwin that I could tell you, but that would take up a lot of airtime.
I think Jonathan is in a good spot to close the gap a little bit here.
Yeah, it needs some good position here on the 7 ball, which he's got. Can float this in, 8 to the top right. Doesn't even mind going past the center point on the 8 ball. Just a touch. Doesn't want to go too far past center. Yeah,
Oh,
that's...
nice little punch.
Yeah, that will work. Puts himself dead in on the 8. Cars cost less. Oh, I see. Yeah, lived in Wetaskiwin. That was a hideout spot for me for a few days.
Looking good here.
Yeah, nice weight. Really well done.
Perfect. Well, quickly, that escalated quickly on the B side. Looks like it is a 6-1 lead for...
Oh my goodness, what did he do here?
Oh, no.
Tried to put that in with authority.
Oh, no. He gifted it. He gifted it.
What has he done? Why would you have to slam that ball in like that? No need. Unnecessary.
Oh,
and
no.
it came and bit him hard. Wow.
That was unfortunate.
That was very unfortunate.
Well, we will get to see Jonathan play on the smaller table coming up next. Looks like it is a quick 6-1 lead for Brady over Rick over on this B side. 6-1. Brady on the hill. This could be the last match or the last game that we see on the B side.
For Mr. Glenn, anyway. This could be Jonathan and Brady Golan up next for the B final.
Everything here looks tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, I don't see Brady making the same mistake we just saw out of young Jonathan DLC. To the heart of the pocket she goes. Brady Golan also getting the job done, closing out a 7-1 victory over Rick Glenn. With that being said, it is the B final coming up next. It will be Brady Golan, Jonathan DLC doing battle right here on this table. That will be coming up next. We will do a shutdown restart, get everything locked, loaded, and ready to go for you. Don't go far. This is going to be an exciting final. On behalf of myself, Steph Toy, and the rest of the team, we appreciate you tuning in. We will be right back with the B final coming up next.